Well, I appreciate everybody coming today. Today we're going to talk about an expansion of a program that is making an impact in the city of Albuquerque and for our citizens, but it's also making an impact literally around the world. And I'm talking about the Better Way campaign. Most of you from the media have done a wonderful job of covering this, and I want to say thank you. This is one of those situations where Albuquerque gets to stand up internationally and tell folks how we're solving difficult problems and challenges in a way that's very humane, but it also adds dignity and it adds a lot of positive things to the equation. I've got a number of our partners here from the Better Way campaign, and I want to say thank you to them individually. So Doug Chaplin is here. He's our Director of Family and Community Services. He decided, I guess, not to come up. Gilbert Montano is my Chief of Staff, who really worked with me closely on this back in last year when I brought this idea up and told him I wanted to do some things with There's a Better Way campaign. Father Rusty Smith is here with me today. Father Rusty and St. Martin's Hospitality Center run this program, the Better Way program, and I'll talk about the details of that in a minute. Our rock star Will Cole is with us here. You may recognize Will from one of the 10 million hits that he's had and that this video for Better Way campaign has had on the internet. Vicki Palmer's here. She's the Associate Executive Director of St. Martin's. Thank you so much for being here as well. Jeanette Brawl is the Director of Communications for and Marketing for the United Way. Of course, Mr. Ed Rivera, who's the President of the United Way of Central New Mexico. And I'm going to tell you why that's important, because the whole program, all the donations and everything runs through for There's a Better Way, and for our website runs through the United Way. And they take all of your donations to this program and they run it through and get it right to the nonprofit without any administrative costs being taken out of that. So I want to thank Ed and everything you're doing. Marco Holloway is our Associate Director of Solid Waste. This guy, if you want to thank somebody for cleaning up graffiti and keeping the streets clean and everything else that he does, Marco is one of our absolute stars at Solid Waste, true believer in keeping our city beautiful. And he and his teams go out along with Billy Gallegos and Dan Humbles and Angelo Gallegos. They all go out from the Solid Waste Department and they work side by side with Will and his crews of folks to make sure that we're cleaning up the city. So let's go back a little bit of history. In May of 2015, we started this program. We started with these 311 signs. We did that for a reason. We wanted to connect people with services. If somebody's standing on a corner asking for money, they're doing that for a reason. They either need to get connected with services, food, shelter, something is going on. Their life is not going well. So we put the signs up for the primary purpose of saying, listen, if you're standing here, call 311. Almost everybody has a phone now. We're going to get you connected to those services. Since we put those signs up, we've had over 7,200 people. Over 7,000 people have called that 311 number. Some want to donate to the program, and that's great, but the majority of them need help. So in June of 15, we put up the 15 original signs. We have neighborhoods now asking for more signs. It's been very popular from that standpoint. But in September of last year, that's when I saw this individual holding a sign that says, I need a job. I came back. We started the program as you know it today with Will and the folks from St. Martin's, where we go out twice a week and we will pick up people. We'll pay them $9 an hour. We'll ask them if they want a job for the day, if they want the dignity of work, if they would like to help keep their community clean, just like it's your community and my community. And almost all the time they say yes. And so far we have gone out and we have paid people to clean up 128 city blocks. And we've picked up almost 50,000 pounds of trash and weeds. Think about what a tumbleweed weighs. And think about how many tumbleweeds it would take to fill up 50,000 pounds. And so it's a big volume of work, and so our solid waste folks will go out there with them. And once again, they get the dignity of $9 an hour. They get a lunch, and then we have had so far, of the 527 day jobs that have been created through this program, a quarter of these folks that are working with us, these panhandlers, have opted to invest in themselves by taking services that Father Rusty and his team connect them with, whether that's mental health services, whether that's substance abuse services, whatever it happens to be. 34 of these folks have been connected with permanent employment. That means there's 34 people that were panhandling that now have a job, because they got a chance on one day or 2 days to prove themselves and to feel better about what they're doing. 84 of these folks have been connected with behavioral health and substance abuse services directly for those two things alone. And then 8 of these individuals actually qualified for our permanent housing, either through Albuquerque Heading Home or one of our other programs. And they were so chronically homeless that they have now been put into permanent housing. So there's a reason that There's a Better Way has been a very, very successful program. And the reason that we've had over 70 cities call us. We've had personal conversations with other mayors, people that want to do this in their cities. I know other cities have adopted this. Seattle's doing some work on this front now. I know there's a number of other cities, and they're doing things that matter in their community. I think in Seattle they're actually cleaning up after some of the football games and some of the things in the stadiums. So there's no shortage of need out there. We've been covered on NBC Nightly News, PBS NewsHour, the New York Times Governing Magazine. We had a South Korean news station in here last week talking about what they can do in South Korea as well. So I just want to say thank you to everybody here that's made this program successful and actually changing lives and making our city more beautiful. And that's why today I'm announcing that we're going to double the program. So There's a Better Way is going to double from 2 days a week to 4 days a week. When my budget goes down to the City Council on Friday, it will have an additional $181,000 in there to be able to allow Father Rusty and Will and his team to go out there and do this 4 days a week now. I think it means a lot to our community. I'm just super proud of our of the city of Albuquerque and the difference that we're making in people's lives. And I want to tell you one story because I think this is an interesting sideline to this. People ask me all the time, well, who are the folks that are panhandling? And the short answer is, there's a lot of different people. There's a lot of different circumstances. Some of the folks are born and raised in Albuquerque. Some are simply passing through. And here's a story about 2 people that were just passing through. So there was a young man named Andrew and a young woman named Krista who were panhandling. Will came by in his van, offered him a job for the day. They gladly accepted. They went out and made a few extra dollars. And what they did is they were passing through Albuquerque, and they just didn't have the resources to get back to Texas, to get home. They took the money, they bought bus tickets. They are now back in Texas. Andrew now has a full-time job in his town where he lives in Texas, and Krista is now working towards getting her GED, her high school equivalency exam. So as you're thinking about this as citizens, this program doesn't just help our brothers and sisters who live here, but it helps people that are passing through get on and get back and get their lives on track. So once again, we'll be hopeful that the city councilors will accept this as part of their final budget proposal. And just want to say thanks to Albuquerque. This is a good program.